What's up everybody, it's CJ and I'm back with another Sims 3 speed build, and today I'm going to be building an old farmhouse. So this is for a legacy challenge that I've been playing on Twitch for a while. If you want to see me play it, I play it on usually Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I stream at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The legacy challenge is very chaotic, I'll say that much. So this is going to be an old farmhouse for the family. We're about to start generation 4, and I am building this house for like-minded Sims who want to congregate and live free from judgment, and they also want to live with people who share the same ideals. That's like the best way I can describe it, okay? So they're living in this really old farmhouse. Now, my original idea for this house was for it to be very rundown, very grungy and grimy. The outside is rundown, but the inside is actually kind of decent. I think it just looks kind of outdated, but that was intentional. I did go to Google for some inspo pics, and I was trying to just like look up I know what old farmhouses look like, but I just wanted to like get inspo pics. One thing I am really happy about, side note, is that this little roofing piece right here, it didn't quite work like I wanted to. There's a little bit of overhang, but for the longest time, y'all, I could not do a seamless roof like this to save my life in The Sims. I'm telling y'all, roofing is hard, even for me still. Like, trust me, I know I build all the time, but roofing is still hard. Well, it does poke out a little bit, but I'm just glad that I was able to do a seamless roof like that. Like, oh my gosh. Now, another thing too is that, y'all, this house is big on the inside. There's so much space. There's going to be a lot of Sims living here, so I'm kind of glad that it was big, but I feel like looking back, I probably should have made this like a tile smaller, maybe like 2 tiles smaller, because there was just so much space. But again, it's The Sims 3, and there's going to be a lot of people living here, so I'm like, it's just better if we just have space for everyone to maneuver and everything like that. I'm building this in a world called Woeford. You may remember it. I've done a world overview here years and years ago. It's like a rundown, grungy desert town. And it's not a really big world or anything like that. It's just really nice. So I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to check it out. You don't have to have the world in order to download the build. I'm just building it here because that's where we're going to play in the next generation. So, but you can place this down anywhere. Woeford does use CC. However, for the build, I didn't use any custom content. So yeah, you could just download the build separately if you'd like to. I just use like expansion packs and like store content. I didn't really use any custom content this time around. But as you can see, the outside of the house is starting to come together. There's like certain things that I knew that I wanted to have outside the house. Like, I knew I wanted to have a stable for horses. Now, I don't really know how many horses we'll have. Maybe at most 1. The way that I'm going to play the legacy, basically it's going to be my heir, and then it's going to be like 4 other people, and then my heir has to have 2 children, and then I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want to have like a dog or something, but I don't know. So I guess it depends on like how it plays out. So there are stables with 2 horse hitching posts, and then I do have like a pet bed. I need to put a football. I gotta remind myself to put a football in this house. But there's also gonna be like a pet bed as well, so I mean, it just depends. I also wanted to make sure I put some chickens and some cows, because like I want them to be self-sufficient for the most part, you know? Because, you know, they feel outcasted from the rest of the world. They want to live amongst each other, and they want to just do their own thing, you know what I'm saying? And they do live on like the edge of town, so like I wanted to pick like a spot that was kind of secluded, so yeah. Now, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I did I guess it was like an old abandoned house, and at like a dungeon at the bottom of the house. Yeah, it's for that same family. It's for that same family. So we're about to start the next generation of that challenge, essentially. And funny enough, this house also has a dungeon. So since I didn't use custom content this time around, I didn't include any of like the cages and like the medieval devices. Like, I didn't use any of that. I may do it when I stream the series, but for the sake of the speed build, I'm like, we don't need it. I don't need it right now. Who knows? I may like switch it up a little bit in the future, but for right now, it's completely CC free. Like I said, I did put chickens, and I also put some cows out here as well. I'm actually kind of glad that the cows and chickens don't take up household slots, because I wanted to have like farm life. I also included a little garden outside of the house as well. And then this is just me now going in actually putting windows, and I quite like the placement of the windows actually. Sometimes I wish that we could freely place windows and doors on houses in The Sims 3 like we can in The Sims 4. Because I kind of wanted the windows on the little bump out of the house to kind of go down some. But unfortunately, I can't redo that. It's just The Sims 3. But I still think the window placement looks kind of cool. I used a lot of the windows from Supernatural, and even the door, I believe, is from Supernatural. And then, y'all, I love the way that this layering of terrain paint turned out. Ooh, I love it. I've been really trying to work on my terrain paint lately, and I just think this looks so cool. Like, oh, I just love it. I don't know what it is, y'all, but I just really love a rundown deserty build. I really genuinely love it. I guess rundown builds in general, because I've done so many of them this year alone on my channel. But I just love a rundown build. I just love a grungy atmosphere. And then especially like when it's in a deserty environment like this, because it's like you can kind of get it extra dirty, you know? You can have like weeds and random plants everywhere. It's just so cool. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to have like a little garden somewhere because I want them to be self-sufficient, okay? I don't want them going into town. If they don't have to go into town, they got to be by themselves. So I made sure to stock them up with a lot of mushrooms. And I try to put like a different assortment of stuff. So we have like, I think there's like corn out here as well. I put like a tree. I think it was a pear tree. I actually can't remember what the harvestable was, but I put like a bunch of random stuff out here. So there's like lettuce as well. I think there's onion maybe or garlic. I can't remember. But yeah, they should have enough to get by, you know, and then maybe they'll keep some stuff and then replant it or whatever. And I also wanted to have a shed. So I tackle the shed later in the video. This is going to be like the entry to the dungeon. I would have had it like underneath the house on the inside, but again, trying to fiddle with constrained floor elevation is just not something that I wanted to do. So I was like, we'll just do it outside, okay? It'll just be this way. I did go back though, and I have like a pathway that leads from the stables to this shed. So you'll see it a little bit later. I like fixed up the pathway a little bit, so that way everything looks a little bit more connected. So now we move on to the inside, and y'all, I had so much space. I'm telling y'all, whenever I have big rooms in The Sims to furnish, I sometimes get overwhelmed because I'm like, what the heck am I gonna do? Like, what's going on? Like, I think I made this house way too big. Like, the upstairs is like maybe the perfect size, especially like in the hallway section. But these big jumbo rooms, I'm like, brother, what's going on here, CJ? So I'm like, okay, the house is old. A lot of old houses had closed off floor plans. We're going to just do some closed off things. That way I feel like everything can just kind of have its own little section. I do jump around a little bit with this build on the inside because I had different ideas and I would see different objects and I would place them down in different rooms. But for the foyer area, I included a desk by the front door. There is a TV in this house. I debated on like if I wanted to have a TV, you know, and have them want to use a lot of technology, but then I was like, well, at least let's put a TV. So we have an old TV. I like to think that maybe there's like no cable or like digital cable or anything like that. They just maybe they just like watch movies on VHSs, you know, just stuff that's approved by the owner of the house, you know what I'm saying? But for the foyer, I just wanted to have some filler furniture, you know, so we have dressers, mirrors. At first I included a chair in here, like a love seat, but I moved it to the hallway. And then I have a couple of chairs on top of this rug just to kind of have like something here. Of course, I included a plant. We have some paintings on the wall as well. End tables. Again, y'all, filler furniture is the way to go. I like to call it filler furniture because it just fills in space. So rugs, bookshelves, dressers, all that stuff. And then now this is the living room. So at first I wanted everything to match in here. So I wanted to use like some of the same chairs and love seats. But then I was like, why don't we like kind of switch up some of it? So I swapped out one of the love seats for another couch, and then I swapped out one of the chairs for like this really run down recliner. I don't know, I thought it would look a little bit more realistic, especially in like a house like this, because I didn't want things to be, well, at first, like I said, I wanted everything to be like really nasty and grungy, but then I'm like, maybe we can make it look decent. So it just looks outdated. That's the best way, but you can still tell this house has been here for a while. You can still tell that things need to be fixed. I even used this really old looking coffee table as well. And then of course, you know, I had to fiddle with the rug, go with the cow print design, because why not? I actually really love the color scheme of this room, and especially with the wallpaper. I just really like that design. I feel like it just gives like grandma's house, grandpa's house kind of vibe, you know? And then of course I just play around with the color wheel, just trying to get this room situated. And then I realized, I was like, well, we have a lot of extra space in here. This is like around the time when I was like, oh, maybe they have a pet. But then I didn't really do the head count. I think in terms of The Sims 3, I'm pretty sure you can have up to 10 Sims in a household if you have the pets pack, I want to say. So we might be able to have a dog and maybe 2 horses. I don't know like what the ratio has to be. I think it has to be maybe more humans than pets, but I don't know. So like I said, there's going to be a lot of Sims that live here. There's going to be a family and then some other people. So I needed a place for those other people to stay, and I didn't want them to stay upstairs. Like I wanted to keep the family upstairs, everyone else down here. So I have this little room, and then I'm including a couple of bunk beds. I think if anything, I have more beds than anything in this house. I wanted to make each one look different. I wanted some like older looking bunk beds. So I'm using the ones from Generations with the metal. And then I'm just like changing up the bed sheets. And then right next to it is just going to be a bathroom. So I wanted this one to be kind of just like a general bathroom that anyone can use. There's a lot of space. It's kind of like a bigger bathroom. But again, with all these Sims living here, you kind of need a bathroom somewhere. I think if anything, this house is a 4-bedroom. 2-bathroom home, I think. Well, technically there's more bathrooms. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so for this bathroom, I wanted to go for some really old tile, some wood paneling wallpaper. I'm using the countertops from the Pets pack. The tub, I believe, is from, is it Island Living, maybe? And then, of course, these curtain pieces. I love these curtain pieces, y'all. I cannot remember what set they come with from the Sims 3 store, but it is store content. And I just love it. I don't know why. I've been using them so much lately. And then, of course, I'm using some bigger mirrors in here. And then, of course, I have like 4 different sinks. Like I said, there's a lot of people that's going to live here, so we need more sinks in here. There's also like a little medicine cabinet. I was really just trying to fill in space in the bathroom. And then I found like this, I don't know what you would call it, but it has like a chamber pot, and it has like the table. Like, I don't know what the official term for it is, but I've seen them before. And then, of course, I included like a little towel rack beside the shower. So I knew for this house, I wanted there to be a kitchen, and then I also wanted there to be a big dining room. So we start with the kitchen first. I actually like the color scheme. I'm using some more wood paneling, and then I'm also using some brick for a backsplash. And then, of course, I'm using the same countertops from the bathroom. There's a bookshelf in here. We have a china cabinet. I included a couple of island counters just in case people wanted to eat inside, but I feel like if anything, the rule for the house would be, if you're gonna eat something, eat it in the dining room. Only eat in the kitchen if you're permitted to. Like, this house is strict, y'all. Like, if only you knew. If only you knew what was going on here. So yeah, at least there's something, you know, maybe people can eat here eventually, I don't know. But then again, but as you can see, I'm just kind of filling in some space. I wanted to have a couple of sinks. I included a microwave. I don't know if I included a coffee machine. I might have, I can't remember. And I thought about including a bar, but then I was just like, no, the owner would not allow them to drink. It's just not gonna happen. So no alcohol here, but there are 2 stoves. And this is just me now trying to clutter up the rest of the room. So like I said, I put a bookshelf, we have a china cabinet, and then I found a plant and I put that by the window. I also found this tapestry object, and I feel like this is something that they would like. That's all I'm gonna say. So we have a tapestry in here. I went with like a blue ivy design with the dining room. And you'll see that design a lot in the house, especially in the upstairs. So it took me a while to settle on a table for here, because I wanted something that looked nice, but not like modern, you know? Like, I wanted something that just looks like a good classic dining table. And I found one that has this really nice print on it, and I was like, but then I kept like swapping it out, and I was like, well, maybe not that one, we'll use this one. And I was like, well, no, let's just use this one. I can't remember what set it comes with from the Sims 3 store, but it is store content. Same thing with these chairs. I swapped the chairs out so many times, y'all, because I was like, I wanted like a good dining chair that was kind of fancy but looks like it could belong. So then I was like, well, I guess we'll just use this one. I don't know if this is the one that comes with the table. I could be wrong about that, but I like the pairing of them, so I just kind of put them together. I also included this other china cabinet, which is actually listed, I think, as a bookshelf, but it looks like a china cabinet, you know? So I have that in here as well. Of course, I'm recoloring it. I matched the ivy print on the wall with the little curtains in the bookshelf. And then, of course, I changed the color of the curtains to go from like a orangey color to be blue, you know. And then I also found like these really old-timey lamps that hang from the wall, so I knew that I wanted to put a couple of them in here. I feel like in the past couple of years I've been using like sconces and wall lights a lot more lately. They just really help illuminate a sim space, because like sometimes I feel like I want to put like a bright light in a corner, but then it's like sometimes it just turns out being too bright. So I feel like if you just kind of put a little sconce or like a little wall light, you can kind of just get a little extra lighting, you know. But now we move on to the upstairs. So this is like where the family will sleep. I mean, I guess technically they're all family, the immediate family, I'll say. So up here I just wanted to have some more filler furniture. So we have a bookshelf in the hallway, we have a really nice couch. I actually like this couch. And then I put like a lamp, we have a coffee table. I'm also putting a couple of other chairs. These are the ones from 70s, 80s, and 90s stuff. I don't know if this couch comes with a matching chair to go with it, because it's like a base game couch, so it might, but I didn't really feel like looking for it, so I was like, we'll just pair it up with these other 2 chairs. And then, of course, this bathroom upstairs is a little bit smaller. It has a shower instead of like a shower tub combo. Don't worry, if you need more bathrooms in this house, there's a lot of bathrooms. We're gonna see them eventually. So for up here, this bathroom looks kind of similar to the other ones. It's just smaller, obviously. And then I'm using a lot of the stuff from the Pets pack, so it really came in clutch with this build. That's basically everything for the bathroom, though. When it comes to the bedrooms, though, so it's gonna be my sim. His name is Duck, and he's gonna be the heir, right? So it's gonna be him, his spouse. They're gonna be sharing a room together, and then I would like for them to have one boy and one girl. So I decided to like do the kids rooms first. So I wanted like some old timey looking kids rooms. I'm using the beds from the Pets pack, and then for the boys' room, I have like this like cowboy settler wallpaper, kind of giving like Western vibes. And then I also wanted to put a couple of mirrors in here. I do like recolor them though. I didn't really want stuff to be like too modern looking, you know, so I recolored it to make it look a little bit older. I'm also using the old-timey dresser in the girls' room. It's the one that comes with Supernatural. I think that's like one of the cheapest dressers in the entire game. So I knew I wanted to put that in here. And funny enough, y'all, speaking of cheap, this house was like 160 something thousand simoleons. Mind you, I'm still on Generation 3 technically. Before I streamed last night, they only had like, I think 11,000 simoleons. Y'all, when I ended stream, we had like 30,000. The way we're gonna have to dig deep to afford this house, I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe Genie's lamp and wish for some money. I don't know, but I'm trying to cross that bridge when I get there. So hopefully they can get some more money. Oh, I also included a couple of cribs in here too. So this way, like when they're babies, they can just have a place to sleep or whatever. So if you're wondering why there's cribs, it's just because of that. Or maybe if you play here and your Sims have more kids, you can also just, you know, have them be in this room. You could probably also include just bunk beds in here if you have them. But I like the way the rooms turned out. I think they're kind of cozy. So now we move on to the parents' room. So this, I honestly had no idea what I was going to do for this section of the house. I knew I wanted a bedroom, but I didn't know what I was going to do for the other part. So what I did was like, we have a bedroom that leads into, I guess, what used to be an office space. I guess technically you could still think it's an office space, but it's a bedroom that leads into a, maybe a meeting room is the best way I can say it, you know, just a place where people can just all get together and hang out. Yeah, there we go. So for the bedroom, I'm just using stuff from the pets pack, and I'm using some store content as well. I just really like that tragic clown painting, so I wanted to use it in here somewhere. I also put some tools on the wall, because you never know when you might need some tools. There's like a little stereo in there as well. And then this is going to be a room, you know, like where everyone can come and hang out. So we have some more tapestries, some curtains on the wall. Like I wanted all the windows to be covered. I don't want people to know what's going on in here. We have some lunar horoscope objects. We also have a model of Sunset Valley. I can pretend that maybe this is like a model of the town that we're playing in, Wolford, you know. And then we have like some other little like occult and, you know, like supernatural objects in here, you know. We have an alchemy station in the corner. We have a couple of chairs that sit in front of the tapestries. You know, just like a nice little meeting room, you know. Like I said, if you want to know what's going on, go check out the streams. That's the best way I can say it. Check out. And also, if you can't make a stream, I do have a second YouTube channel. It's called CJ Replays. I'll leave a link to it down below. And then I upload the VODs. So this is called the Chaos Legacies. I'll leave a link to the playlist down below so you can just get caught up if you want to watch. So now we're back outside and we're back to the shed. So I told y'all that this is going to be like the entryway to the dungeon. If you've seen the last build, it's kind of similar. Only this time around, I didn't use any like CC like I said earlier. So down here, I decided to kind of make like it's a dungeon, but it's more like a jail, you know? So half of it is just going to be like jail space. And then the other half is just, they're just going to be some tools. The Sims that live here, they're going to be taking care of animals. They garden, so they're going to need like certain tools, right? You know, like shovels. Maybe if a tree falls, a chainsaw to like, you know, handle the wood. There's a sculpture station down here to make some stuff. So, you know, maybe like a cop or something used to own this house. And they just have a jail to keep the inmates until they had to take them to the actual jail. But yeah, there is like a jail down here, you know. It's not the coziest and not the cleanest, but there is a shower and there's also toilets in down here as well. Oh, and there's also bunk beds. But as long as the Sims that live here don't come down here, they'll never know about it. But in the end, y'all, that's basically everything for the entire video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below. Please follow me over on Twitch while I stream a lot of The Sims. Like I said, if you want to check out this series, I'll leave a link to my second channel down below, as well as a link to the playlist so you can go watch this if you want to. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this one, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye! Thanks for watching!